Hi, Annie Manatsa here, reflecting on how the three moral judgment approaches virtue, deontological, and consequentialist ethics can be applied to lockdown measures in relation to COVID-19, both in relation to individual and government decisions. As I progress in the unit, I can see how my knowledge has been enhanced with each topic. I have taken time to look at the three moral judgment approaches, namely virtue, which asks, what sort of person should I be? Deontological, which asks, what acts should I do or not do? And consequentialist ethics, which asks, what outcome should I seek to achieve? These terms have greatly sparked my interest. I thought I knew what ethics was, but recent study has shown me the broadness of the subject. I knew ethics had much to do with right or wrong and morals, but I had no idea the issue goes deeper. For example, the difference between personal ethics, which looks at the question, how should I live, and a parallel, which is business ethics, and this focuses on the right and wrong of business conduct. My initial thought was that the lockdown measures were good for the people. I still hold that belief, but digging further has me questioning some aspects. Firstly, the whole idea of lockdown measures seemed like a one-horse race to me. It simply was for the good of the people and to prevent further outbreak as suffered by other countries. It seemed ethical for the government to exercise such measures. Not that I'm completely thinking otherwise, but in reading in depth and noting the different arms that the word ethics can branch into, I cannot help but question these measures. I have since learned that the word ethics might not be able to distinctly give us the answer of what is right or wrong, but we can explain why some things are done. Going back to the restrictions, I can see why they were placed, but I have been questioning whether it is necessarily right to do so. In the same breath, ethics and justice have been discussed, and I have now learned that justice looks at how some decisions impact those affected by the decisions, even though these people are not part of the decision making. It is no secret that lockdown measures have affected many. I cannot help but wonder, though safety has been achieved to an extent, was justice served? In my reassessing the issues and following debates on lockdown restriction issues, I have also been left to wonder if the state governments have been influenced by the 6 elements that business ethics educators Charles Powers and David Vogel have identified, namely moral imagination, moral identification and ordering, which refers to the ability to identify important issues, prioritize the issues, and weigh them against competing values. Moral evaluation, which uses analytical skills to evaluate available options. Tolerating moral disagreement and ambiguity, which arises when leadership disagrees about values and courses of action. The 5th is integration of managerial competence with moral competence and sense of moral obligation. I've seen myself paying more attention to how the leadership is handling the restrictions. Making good ethical decisions relies on the REST model, which focuses on moral awareness, moral judgment, moral intention, and moral action. This model, I can see, shapes the 3 moral judgment approaches. I can see that the government may be positioning individuals to ask, should I be the type of person to observe lockdown measures? What actions should I take with regards to this? And do I expect an outcome of less, if not no, cases? This said, I cannot help but still wonder if it is moral to lock citizens in the country and lock the rest of the world out. As mentioned before, my initial thought of the restrictions was that they are good. I can now see that ambiguity means that the restrictions, though they have achieved what was intended to an extent, are not definitely ethical. They leave room for debate. One of the reasons I have now come to realize is that this is because not everyone actually agrees with the decisions, and this could be a result of motivated blindness, where either party is convinced that they are right and they are not willing to consider the other's opinion. Going forward, I intend to look deeper into decisions that are made by those in leadership and see how they affect people and whether these decisions are ethical, moral, and show justice. I intend to begin by looking closely, starting at my own life and the decisions and those that I make decisions for. As I carve my career path, I'm seeing now that I would want to be a leader who weighs every possible option and encourages ambiguity before making the decisions that will affect others. With regards to lockdown measures, I have many questions, but I will endeavor to follow rules as an individual, even though they might not suit me, because I want to value the lives of others. Please find a copy of my